Konbanwa, everybody. This is Jack, and just chiming in here real quick at the top of the episode to let you guys know that our contest is still going and still going strong. So you have the end of January to enter our contest, and essentially it's really easy to enter. All you have to do is follow us on Instagram at Tadaimagram, follow us on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and then write us a review on iTunes or any other platform that will let you leave reviews for podcasts, essentially. And once you do those three things, you are in. The winner is going to be announced in just a couple weeks, but you have until the end of January to enter, and the winner is going to get either a fresh brand new pair of Apple AirPods or an equally valuable Amazon gift card. So don't delay, and we'll have more details at the end of the podcast as well.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, a Terrace House podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I am Robert Scarpanito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm.
Konbanwa.
Jack Cepeda.
Wangfest Spring 2018, New York City, baby!
And that's his last episode with us.
Yeah.
And Colin Sparling.
But on a serious note, like, what the fuck is Wangfest? Does anyone know?
Are we
Like,
Did anyone notice that? Yeah, on her
I noticed
sweater.
it on her shirt. Yeah, saying it's on Seina's shirt.
I
What we're
paused
about to
it
talk
like,
about.
what is
Yeah.
Wangfest? What is this
Wangfest
fest?
New York 2018.
Wait, are we saying wake or wang?
Wang. W-A-N-G.
Watch the video.
Wangfest.
I mean, her time on Terrace House. That's one description.
I mean, yeah, you could,
Oh!
you could call episode 32 one big Wang Fest.
Cut them up.
Picturing the gif of all like the hot dogs flying
Oh, gross.
at the girl's face.
So for today's episode of Tadaima, we're going to take a deep dive into the Noah-Seina relationship. This is Seina's last love, guys. Remember?
Maybe.
Saigo no koi.
Very last one. So for those of you who don't know, because we didn't up until probably more recently than we should have, but there are exit interviews for almost all the Terrace House members that the producers of the show do after they leave the Terrace House. And what we decided to do is take a look at Noah's and Seina's and kind of use what they said in their exit interviews to recontextualize their time on the show together. And it should be pointed out that we heard about this from Scott on our Facebook group. So what up, Scott? Thanks for letting us know.
Hey.
He's the man.
You can find all of these exit interviews on Reddit, actually, which I'll link that in the description. Man, that's weird to actually say that this time. Yeah, I'll link that down in the show notes or description so you guys can check that out. There are a ton of other exit interviews too. Like Shohei tells a story about how he has hair growing somewhere he shouldn't, and it's pretty good.
Hold on, don't spoil them. We should maybe like save these for
I
later.
know, I'm leaving it at that.
Okay.
It's a teaser.
It's so good.
A hairy teaser.
I'm very teased.
You should be very teased. And before we dive in, I just want to give thanks to the users of Reddit, Gabweeb and Coma, who were the ones who translated and subtitled these exit interviews. They didn't have to, but they did it out of the goodness of their heart. So thank you for that. So I say let's kind of go through real quick and just kind of recap what even happened on the show, right? Like between Noah and Seina. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but Noah was kind of given not just one girl, but two girls kind of the ring around almost before getting to Seina.
Okay, yeah, two other girls. I was going to say three in total, right? Technically?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It started with Mayu first, right?
Yeah, Mayu.
Mayu was getting all aggressive on him, very much not taking any hints. Not even the weather would shake this woman.
None.
Day 4.
She was, yeah, that's what that reminded me while watching this interview, because he brings it up, the whole Mayu situation, and he's like, yeah, she was going hard by day 4 of her being there.
She was determined to pursue Noah by any means necessary.
Yeah, she was ready to die on this hill of pursuing Noah. And so if you guys could jog my memory, was the 4th day, when he was referencing the 4th day, is that the day that she like got all dressed up and like made all that food for him? Is that day?
I think maybe.
Is that day?
It was close to that day.
Yeah.
It was definitely the first. That definitely happened. Like weird, not really a date thing happened in the first week. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty early on.
Yikes.
And that would be really intimidating to like just move into this new house and someone's instantly just all over you.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Even when you say a line like, I'm going to go watch SpongeBob in the living room, she's like, oh, hell yeah. Let's watch some SpongeBob. Nothing stops her.
Clearly.
I mean, but who doesn't like SpongeBob?
That's true.
That's true.
SpongeBob is.
It
the
made
best
for
show.
good TV, guys. It made for
God,
good TV.
I would love to watch Japanese dub SpongeBob, just picturing how ridiculous it is.
It's pretty wild. Korean dubbed SpongeBob is a trip. So he finished, like, Mayu and him don't get together, obviously, right? And then it kind of gives Yui a chance for her to shoot her shot, her many shots in many lists of paper. I think she subjected him to the list twice, right?
Okay, so as weird as it was for her to literally like bring out pieces of paper with questions that she had thought up for Noah, it still seemed like that was the obvious pairing, that was going to work out. They both came to the house on the same day, and they're the same age, and they really seemed to hit it off. He was the one that did a lot of the, hey, do you want to go do this? Hey, I heard that you really like Konnyaku. Let's go to Konnyaku Park, even though you think it's cheesy. I believe in it. I think you'll have fun. It really seemed like they were going to get together romantically. And she was the one like answering those nudges that he seemed to be making up until the point where she's like, hey, can I ask you out next time? Because you always are the one that asks me out. And he's like, yes. And that seemed a clear, open door to romance.
See, for me, it was a head scratcher, the two of them together. I mean, Konnyaku Park was fun and all that, and it made for, again, entertaining show to watch, but I never could see them together as a couple, right? I just never got like that attraction
The je
from
ne sais
them.
quoi.
Yeah, that's a little something. Like, I know Yui was kind of, feeling it out too. She was kind of apprehensive in the beginning, but I never put them together as like a good couple. But I just wondered, like, why did Noah like ask her out like on a one-on-one basis? If the whole time, as we're going to learn, he just looked at her as a friend kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Especially like,
go ahead.
no, I was going to say like something like horse riding and that sort of thing, and telling her to ask him out. It was one of those things where like I wasn't 100% sold, but I was like almost there. That like I was almost sure that they were going to be a thing, and so it was just really surprising when it just completely left turned.
I think it was tough for me to feel sold on it, just because whenever you see two people who are obviously into each other, like the show leaves hints about it. The producers leave hints, like the Shion Tsubasa, right? Like classic best romance ever. You see hints of both sides kind of struggling with, do I like that person? Do I not? Do they like me? I don't know.
Fair enough.
But here, you've only saw Yui do it, but Noah, like, not even once. Not even once.
Not even a little bit.
Question anything, really.
Right.
But yeah, he eventually lets Yui down. Even after telling her, yes, you can ask me out again, he kind of rescinds that almost immediately and is like, JK, don't ask me out, please. And
Please don't.
yeah, that was rough. And then Noah and Seina bone.
There's a little bit in between there. There's a little bit in between
there, but yeah.
But I mean, kind of, right? Like that's pretty much it. Like they had the vomit kiss, which we never saw on screen, but
They didn't kiss
I'm
at the
glad.
camping trip, though. We found that out from these interviews.
yeah, the interviews allegedly
did
said
not.
they never kissed on the
Yes.
camping trip, and then they went to a bar and just fucking tongue down.
Ugh.
You had to say it like
Never heard that term in my life.
I don't think it's an inaccurate
that sounds
description.
a lot worse than what it was.
It's-
and it was still pretty bad.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone say that either, but hey, it's not wrong.
You say it about like a lollipop, like I'm about to tongue down this lollipop.
Some dum-dums? Hell yeah, I'm gonna tongue down on those.
Oh. All right. We're inventing
How
new
many
things
licks does
here.
it
Now
take
I
to get
wish.
to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Well, Robert might know.
Maybe it would be better to see the vomit kiss, because it'd be better than this, than tonguing down.
Well, after they tongue down, they go to a hotel to just sleep together and not do anything. Of course, they just slept like next to each other.
Stayed up all night talking.
Two beds.
Yep.
Two beds.
Two beds.
Right?
Not even close to naked. No, they fuck. And then like 2 episodes later, they leave.
Robert, where do babies come from?
Well, they're like storks. You ever heard of a stork?
Do they go to the stork store?
They do. The stork.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, does the stork turn into a baby?
No, the stork turns into a stork. It just kind of flies and carpet bombs homes with babies. Okay. So they leave, little to no fanfare. And now here we are on their exit interviews, which both came out the same week that they left. And I think let's start us off with Seina's exit interview, which starts off with her being very, very happy. My last love. Yes. She's so excited. And drinking wine, because, of course.
I was just going to say, yeah,
Seina.
of course you're going to have that glass of wine right by your side. And so when you guys watch these exit interviews, that's where you'll see the Wang Fest Spring 2018, New York City. Get some.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to go now.
Well, I want to see what's on the back. What's on her sleeves, first of all. Then what's on the back of that shirt? I don't know. I don't know why I'm obsessing over this shirt, but I just Wangfest. What a thing. What a thing.
What is it?
I can't believe, guys. I mean, we've seen hundreds of episodes probably of Terrace House. I just feel like a not true fan now. I didn't even know these were a thing, right? Because I mean, they're not really like readily available for the North American audience, right?
Yeah.
Like we have to depend on fans to translate them, and then put them up there. So, like again, shout out to Scott for pointing us in this direction, because it was fascinating to just watch really get like insight. I mean, it's just so different, especially for a show like Terrace House, because you never get that much one-on-one time or insight really with anyone. It's always people talking together.
Yeah, it feels significantly like reality show, like what we're used to, intercut in between every 5 minutes of a reality show. It's like the video confessionals where it's like, oh yeah, when that happened, I felt like this. Whereas Terrace House, you just have to guess like what they might have felt in that moment, like what Noah might have felt every time that Mayu was chasing after him and insisted that they need to go out. Yeah. Like we know that from his body language and from conversations that he had with other people, but we finally got kind of the first one-on-one, especially with like what he was thinking about Yui, like what was going through his head, or like even like I thought it was really interesting the way he talked about the guys of the house too. Like it's not something I would have thought about, but it's like, yeah, that's like a whole nother layer of interaction that I don't think we got to see a lot from Noah.
Can I comment on that as well too? When it was revealed through his exit interview, because they never talk about this on the show, that he didn't exactly get along great with Taka, right? I mean, that's the takeaway I got from it. It was like there was always some distance between them. I'm like, no wonder I didn't trust your motherfucking ass, because Taka's the man. I love Taka. And I was like, oh, that's why. Because if you don't get along with Taka, dude.
Yeah, like Taka's
I think there's something wrong with you.
He's your barometer of other people on the show. Like
he was the coolest guy on the whole show.
Yeah, exactly. If he likes him, you like him. Actually, I guess before we like super dive into these interviews, I'll just say now, again, if you want to watch these before we, I guess, technically spoil them, check them out. Link in the description. Then come back to the show, and you can join us on this wonderful ride. If not, I mean, we'll probably tell you enough in detail anyway. We'll hopefully get it, but there's still something fascinating about watching them. Because like Daly said, right, these aren't intercut in between the show. And the thing is, they're filmed in a way where I could see them, if you wanted to re-edit Terrace House, you could take
there's an edit of this.
Right. You could take the episode and then like after, like, let's say, for example, after Shohei kisses Seina, you could like cut there and then play this confessional of Seina telling the camera how she felt about that. And that could have totally been what happened, but they didn't. And I kind of like this.
That being said, yeah, I much prefer it this way, just because we've had that other kind of format just jammed into our skulls here in the States and in just the West. But I much prefer this, and I think that both shows are better for it, or like both aspects are better for it. Right, the show's better because it doesn't have the stuff, but yet to have this cherry on top of the end once they leave makes these so much more riveting, at least to me. The exit interviews. Yeah,
totally, and I really appreciate too, from just like a structure standpoint, how they set these whole interviews up. There was no music, right? It was just like one or two, like two cameras, I think, two different angles. And I really like how when they were done responding to the question, they let it hang. right? And they got them, like, for example, like Seina laughing or like Noah contemplating what he just answered, and they let it open so they could add more to their answer. You know what I mean? And because they gave a lot of like really honest insight that I actually wasn't expecting.
And they asked some tough questions too.
They did.
Didn't really
They totally
pull punches with that. They asked, I think, what a lot of us were wondering and wanted to know about. So kudos to that.
I was actually expecting these interviews to be quite a bit more surface level and superficial than what they actually were. They were quite a bit more meaty than I was expecting.
So before we get into like Seina's interview, her whole thing was that this is supposed to be her last love, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about her relationships with the two people that she was previously with.
I think she was only with one. I know she was with Daiki.
So what was that relationship also what she would have considered her last love? Because they were together for a while, right?
I mean, it seemed like they lived together.
They did. They lived together.
Yes.
Actually, I have some news about Daiki, which I did a little bit of research. Again, I haven't seen Boys and Girls Next Door, but it kind of comes up later in the interview, I think, where it makes a lot of sense. But I say maybe let's just start going through this interview like chronologically, hitting up the big points, and go from there. So they open up asking Seina about Ami and Tsubasa, because if you remember when Seina first came on the show, those were the two girls who were there, who we learned they were really tight, apparently, even though that isn't shown in the show. Ami and Tsubasa are buddy, and then here comes Seina.
Right.
Yeah, and Seina's like, I felt they were mature. I could share anything with them, which is like, it's kind of neat to see that. And she even claims that they hung out outside of the house, like after they left.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's funny to think about that, because if you guys remember when Seina first showed up to the house, Ami and Tsubasa practically went into a mass panic.
Yes. Drawer space.
They're like,
closet space.
And they like sprinted off to their room, and they're like, oh my god, fucking Seina's here. We gotta like
Seina's son.
I mean, I think that was kind of everyone though, right? Because Seina kind of just like she even said herself, like, I kind of overdid it when I first came in because I didn't know how to enter the house, right? But she kind of came in like maximum Seina.
Yeah, she went all out because she wanted them to have like a joyous disposition to her.
Yeah.
Right. I was totally expecting her to be a lot more, I don't know, next level, I guess is a way to put it. I extra. I was expecting her to be just really out there. Right. And she was a lot more level than I thought she would be. I ended up liking her in a lot of situations. Up until the whole Noah Seina thing, I don't know, kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, but
yeah. Right up until the Noah Seina thing, just from the way that people described her, I was really surprised that she almost, I don't want to say maternal, especially not in the way that like Yui has become kind of like a maternal figure, but like she did like look out for Ami and Tsubasa in a fair way, like when Shion asked her out and she's like, oh no, I can't do that because, you know, Tsubasa, or like the way that she tried to describe Ami at one point and was like, no, I think that's the way that girls think, and trying to, you know, get people not to hate on Ami so much. Yeah, she was like really mature.
Yeah, that even kind of shows through when Noah first comes into the house, right? Seina said that like she knew she liked Noah, but she also knew that both Mayu and Yui were interested. So initially she backed off. She put on the brakes and she was like, I got to back up my girls first. For myself. She
always had the girls' backs, and that's how I always remember her.
Yeah.
Sisterhood.
And she's like super cool for that too. And maybe it's because of her age, but part of me kind of felt like that was not necessarily maternal, but just like that whole the senior junior relationship almost. You know?
Senpai.
Kohai.
Senpai.
Yeah.
She was senpai.
Going back, I guess, to where the producers asked her about Shohei. She was just like, nope, just gonna swerve away from him because she didn't like him, kind of like, and romantically, not at all.
It's very interesting the term she used. She's like, he's manly,
right? But she wasn't attracted to him still.
She wasn't attracted to him, but I think it's very interesting as well too. What else she reveals? Like, he didn't follow through after the kiss. Which was kind of like, and she was almost complaining about that in a way. Like, wow, so the kiss and that's just it? It's almost like he missed his window. If he had one, it was then. It seems like here in retrospect.
I guess. Because, like, I remember going back and, like, a couple episodes ago and talking to you guys about how, like, I really thought that she clearly had not liked the sudden kiss on her birthday. And that, like, all those expressions that people were being like, oh, she has that womanly look. It was like, she wasn't into that.
Right.
And, like, she was, like, very distraught that evening. But maybe what was actually being thought is that she was like, oh, I thought that he was going to, like, follow through. I thought that, you know, we wouldn't go back to Terrace house that night and things would have wound up different.
I'm so surprised to hear that even when they were alone, one-on-one in the house, he didn't follow through with that. That's shocking to me.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because I was initially thinking, you know, maybe dating on Terrace house is kind of a weird situation. Like, I mean, how many times have you guys been on a date with someone, it ends with a kiss, and then you go home and they're still there, but not in like a let's take this date home kind of way, right? They're home because they live
gears,
there.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like a weird kind of, are you my roommate or are you my potential love interest right now?
It's kind of like band camp all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really weird, and what makes it even weirder too is like that almost makes me think that Shohei read it differently than we originally perceived, right? Like maybe he read it like, oh shit, maybe this actually was bad, and maybe he was like, I kind of feel bad,
trying to smooth it over, maybe.
Maybe he was just like, I'm gonna take a step back because I don't think this went the way it did, like I thought it might have, but. I don't know. That's I mean, it's pure speculation, obviously. But if she's like, yeah, I kind of wanted him to follow through because that's the way she's making it sound. Because like Jack said, she was kind of sounding like she was complaining. Then yeah, that's absolutely what I'm thinking. Is that Shohei was like, I need to back off.
Huh? Perhaps.
I just want to bring up that mental image again of Shohei just yelling into a pillow in frustration and.
Oh, I thought you were going to do like the crab claw reach around to grab her chin.
Oh, God.
I mean, if you want to relive that awkward moment.
Yeah,
sure.
that would have, I think that in itself maybe was the moment, like just the turn off of like, you could have saved yourself here because that's what she's always said about him, right? Is that like in the everyday, she's not that attracted to him, but when he's like in the moment and like on stage especially, like that's really attractive. Like he goes up to like 150% versus like 7%.
Right.
Yeah, he would always, I mean, even in best case scenario, even if he did follow through, even if they maybe dated, he would still always have that obstacle of her just not being that attracted to him. Like even if, let's say in an alternate reality they were dating now, Shohei and Seina, like she would still kind of be like, yeah, I love his personality. First thing she'd say about him, right? He'd be that guy.
Do you think he'd still have to crab claw to get a kiss if they were dating?
Maybe.
Maybe. I can't even. I don't know.
There was never like a head-on kiss. Like all of their kisses was like him like very awkwardly like chiropractoring her neck around.
Yeah. He was like trying to break her fucking neck and
bones were definitely cracking.
There's just a faint popping in the background.
I have a question for you guys though. So imagine like, so if this situation somehow happened and they didn't live together, right? I think it's fair to say that this wouldn't have happened. Like, I don't think anything else would have happened after that initial kiss, right? Like, I don't think they would have followed up with each other. Like, that would have ended in my head, no texting or what have you, or no communication if they weren't living together.
Probably, most likely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think?
I mean, I agree, only because like you see later in the show when Shohei comes back, right? When Yui and Kaito go on that Apple Music Fest date, and you get to see Shohei again. That gave me so much insight of like maybe he's just bad at women, because how we described Yui was like, oh, you know, I would have dated her. I mean, I wouldn't. Not that I like her, but I'd marry her. I mean, I don't like her though, but you know, she's great.
For a lead singer in a band,
I don't know what the hell he was saying there.
For a lead singer in a band, he seems less experienced than the Western stereotype of lead singers in bands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the opposite sex.
Right. And
maybe he just idealized that whole thing. Maybe that in his head he is trying to be that guy, but he just isn't. Like, he's completely overplaying it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd still get a beer with him. Probably would never date him. Personally.
I was gonna say, yeah, I would. I'm not gonna date him either, so I'll go with you down that path, Robert. But also, if I could just watch him drinking beers and crying with Taka for like 24 straight hours,
Dude, just
I would watch that show.
Can I have that whole episode? Can I just have an episode of them doing that and reminiscing about everything that happened around the house? Like
shaking hands, hugging, high fiving.
that's a great episode.
That's all the follow through and chemistry was already spent up between him and Taka, so he didn't have any left for Seina. That's
true.
what was happening.
That's true.
Yeah, oh my god. But to get back to Noah and Seina, I definitely don't think that Noah after him saying that it was very touchy around Taka. We all know that there was nothing going on between him and Shohei that was really any good. You know what I mean? They were kind of just bearing each other.
Well, so that's weird. I mean, we'll dive deeper into that later when we get to the Noah interview, but I just he's like Noah said that he actually got along well with Shohei. At least at first, which was
for
weird.
the most part. At first, maybe.
Yeah, because
there's no way it was happening later on.
Yeah, because he shut that shit down hard when he was like, "Oh yeah, you know the girl you just confessed to, and she just said no to you, and you liked her for the past couple weeks. She and I just kissed. Yeah, take that, bitch."
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, he's. I don't know why he tried. I don't know if he was trying to provoke him. I still don't understand why.
No, I definitely have comments about Noah, but I want to save it for that part.
Yeah, so let's get back there. So let's go back to Seina. Final words here. Seina is not sad about Shohei's flowers dying. I don't even remember them dying, but the producer somehow did.
Oh, I totally remember.
That was a dramatic ass shot.
Yeah, it was.
Like the shriveled love.
And
the shriveled love
made manifest.
I should have named the episode that.
Seina sidestepped it so well. She was like, I was disorganized. What can I say? Like, just fucking, I don't know. It just happened.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
It eventually hit a point in that line of questioning about Noah where she was just ready to back away and not even touch the topic of Shohei rather with a 10-foot pole. You know what I mean? She was just ready to just beeline it away.
Yeah. But let's get into her thoughts on Noah, right? So she was like, she's kind of into him from what I'm gathering here. Like she seems like kind of maybe a little aloof about it because she says the more that he says I love you, the more she ends up loving him, which kind of sounds like he needs to do some convincing or something. That's kind of how I read it.
I kind of got that she's like still like kind of just in the relationship to have fun in a way. It just seemed when she said that, it seemed like to me that she wasn't maybe taking it as serious as maybe I thought she was. Who knows?
Yeah. But
yeah, I definitely got mixed signals just in the way that like she was like, oh, we kind of like got into it because he was chasing me. But then she's also like talking about marriage.
yeah.
Right. She was jumping to the marriage card pretty quick. Like they've been together, what, 7 months, 8 months?
Around that.
But I mean, she's in her 30s now. She's gonna want to get married pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, to rephrase, like she wasn't really. She was talking about marriage. She wasn't saying she wants to get married right away. She was like, "I'm going to go on his timeline," is what she said.
Yeah.
She's
not
really
gonna
scared to
pressure him.
ruffle the feathers, I think.
Well, and
She's really scared to like kind of scare him away because, I guess we're jumping ahead a little bit, but like, he's had really possessive, really jealous girls in the past. I'm sure he brought that up to her, and she's not the kind of woman to kind of dote over a guy like that. She's got her own life, her own thing, her own priorities, what she wants to do. So I really think she does really want to marry him, obviously, but she also, like I said, doesn't want to rock the boat too much and kind of scare him away.
I personally think she's got too much of a rock star syndrome here in that she's saying these things like, yeah, I'll go by his timeline. But like at the end of the day, it kind of feels like if they broke up, Noah would be more devastated than Seina, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Or I think Noah's definitely way more emotionally invested in this. Not to say that Seina's just like, yeah, whatever, it's just a guy, but like I feel if they broke up, she'd be over it a lot quicker than he would be. And then she'd move.
Yeah, I mean,
she'd come back to Terrace House 5 and find her new last love.
Yeah, I mean, she certainly has more experience than Noah on the dating scene. And also, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if they broke up, she'd be more disappointed because she doesn't get that trust fund money.
That Skymark money?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely agree with Robert though. Yeah. I think Noah would be distraught.
I mean, he picked her over being a pilot.
That's true.
Yeah, what's that about, by the way?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I think it's a question the producers kind of put.
Yeah, they just
hypothetical.
wanted it to be hard on them.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I mean, is it hard to really choose a career and then also your lover? Like, can't you have both?
In what scenario
Yeah,
does that
I don't
question
think it's
need to be asked?
an expected scenario. It's just like how into Seina are you? Because your only other character trait is that you want to be a pilot.
That's true.
Yeah, and how honest is that response though when you ask ridiculous questions like that? Is what
Right.
I think.
Although
I think Seina was fairly honest.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
it's funny because they asked both, like the producers asked both of them that question. It kind of felt like the Newlyweds game, you know, where it's like, how much do you know your partner? And Seina was like, oh, he's probably gonna choose pilot, and then he's like, I choose Seina.
Yeah, he was smart.
Yeah, that's true.
They said,
She's
"Well, I'm
gonna
a
watch
man."
that interview.
Yeah. But then he said, "Well, I'm a man. I should have chose work." That was
Yeah.
odd.
That comes off as like the macho bravado kind of thing that Japanese culture kind of sometimes has, where it's like the man is still the breadwinner kind of vibe.
Right, and he also says something along the lines of he likes that she's like a more traditional woman, too, in that ilk, which was like
where she supports him. And I gotta wonder. Okay, I remember the Noah. Is it Ishimura? Ishikura. I remember the Noah Ishikura who would skip out on work, get drunk, go play basketball, would fucking go to the club all night, didn't do jack or shit about becoming a pilot while he's in the house, right? Like I remember that guy. So when I hear him say she supports me, call me cynical as fuck, but what I hear him saying is she lets me do basically whatever I want and doesn't scold me for it. Yeah. That's kind of how I took that.
Yes, actually, I did take it the same way because I wonder if that's still. I'm just curious if that behavior is still happening.
Like I heard that in my left ear, and then in my right ear, I also heard Skymark money.
Man, he's banking a bunch on the Skymark. If it doesn't happen, then fuck. What's he gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
It was interesting to hear that like he lives alone, and so he invites her over a bunch. It's like, where are you getting that money if not from your parents, who were the ones that were like, you have to raise the money to get your pilot's license on your own, which is $1 million yen, right?
I think.
Or 10 million?
And that reminds me again, like, didn't Taka get him that job? So the fact that he was distant with Taka after Taka like went the extra mile for his ass.
Like maybe that's
like
why.
what a dick.
Yeah. See, exactly what Daly said. That's probably the new theory, right?
Well, I mean, didn't Noah say that when he first came to the house, he was already kind of iffy with Taka? Like it wasn't a result of something; it was just at the get-go.
What is that? What he said?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, then it certainly wouldn't have helped that he started skipping out on work at a place that Taka got him a job at.
I just think Seina. So maybe my opinion's different than yours because I feel like Seina is more hopeful for the future with Noah than the other way around. Right? I think that she is really banking on his future kind of value. But I think right now he's the same old dumbass he's always been. I don't see him making any meaningful changes to his life after his time on the show. And so I bet he's still pulling all the same old bullshit. You know?
See, I'm kind of the opposite, just in the sense that I think she likes him because of the bullshit, because that's also her lifestyle. Like that we saw so much of her like waking up at like 2 p.m. like putting on a mask instead of makeup and like obviously hungover, but being like, no, I'm fine.
Right.
And
She
it's like-
parties. But when it comes to, like work though, she seems very diligent
Yeah.
when it comes to her career. At least to me, that's the impression I got. Whereas Noah's just like, who gives a fuck? I got Scarmark money.
Yeah, she definitely hustles, but like take that scene where they're making out at the bar, right? Or tonguing down, if you will, at the bar. I could not imagine that happening with Taka or Shohei. Like, I mean, it could happen, but there was something extremely perfect about that. It was Noah and Seina. You know, like Noah fits that lifestyle. He seems at home in that on that couch under her, whereas Shohei or Taka would look a little out of place a little.
Certainly are painting a picture there, Robert. No, they're two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. They're like priorities align, which I think their priorities are mostly just like having a good time. Like maybe Seina's are starting to shift in the sense that she's getting into her 30s and she's like, there's certain expectations of women at that point, especially when it comes to relationships and settling down. But I think because Noah's young, she can still get away with the way that she wants to live and just like go out to clubs, you know, drink all the wine that she drinks. And she was even drinking wine in the interview, which I loved.
It wouldn't have been the same if she wasn't. We would all been asking, where's her wine?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
where's her wine?
I think the only thing that the thing from the interview that I want to bring up that kind of solidifies this to me is that they asked her the question, why didn't you say I like you? Because you remember there was a little bit of a like, you know, Noah said it first. She was like, thank you. And then later the next day, I think she says, I like you back. When they asked her that, she said that she wanted to make sure of, quote, various things, end quote, before saying it. And to me, that's like, so you want to make sure it's a good fuck, right? It's a good kiss, like physically compatible.
See, that's funny you went there because I was thinking like I want to make sure it's completely like the girls know that, you know, that Noah's not eligible anymore, or like they don't feel anything for him anymore. That's how I took it.
I think Seina
To
is
not step on the girls' toes.
she's nice enough to the girls or has their back enough. I don't think she would have done anything with him had she thought they still had a chance.
Fair. That's funny.
That's true. I think though at the same time in terms of like the future of Noah and Seina, they both talk about, and it sounded like Seina was very excited about the idea of marriage with him. Like she was pretty all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes.
But I mean, like she was like, yeah, this is my last love. I want to get married. And then Noah's like, yeah, marriage is definitely in the cards. I want to do that. But like at the same time, if I feel like if I rush into marriage, I'll feel less motivated. Whereas now that she's not putting pressure on me to do that, it actually motivates me more to work harder. What he's working on, I'm not sure, because it definitely doesn't seem like that pilot license.
I think maybe he's working on having like the best party of his life.
There we go.
Yeah.
Goals.
He's like, actually, by that I meant like I'm gonna live it up hard as fuck before I get married.
He's gonna get
Robert, how much more of the Seina interview do you want to talk about? Because I want to talk about the very end.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about one more thing and then get to that ending.
Okay.
So let's see here. I just want to say that when they asked Seina, what would you do if Noah cheated on you? Like that kind of seemed very out of left field, right? I was like, damn, producers, you don't trust Noah at all?
Dude,
like,
that's a brutal question for anyone to
it
ask
is.
that's in a serious monogamous relationship. Like no one wants to go there, but obviously they already had that conversation, right? She goes, well, I have a prepared response actually. I'm going to make him
I have a plan.
strip naked.
I know
He's
what's
gonna
going to
get in
happen
the middle
here.
of the middle of the street, sitting on his soles. And like, damn,
Naked.
Like, that sounded scary. That sounded like some human centipede shit.
right. And at first I was like, yeah, dude, that's a fucking brutal question. But I did a little bit of digging. That's why she and Daiki broke up.
What?
What? He cheated?
He cheated on her.
No shit.
Right.
Daiki's long-haired dude, right?
That was your research.
Yeah, that was my research. I did a research, guys. No, it was weird because apparently she posted something, I think on Instagram, with like a bunch of middle finger emojis and translated something to roughly like used condoms that I don't know about are in here in my house. And it's like, dude, whoa.
What?
Oh my god! So she found them?
She found used condoms she doesn't know about when she was living with Daiki.
What a way to go.
Wow, dude, that's fucking harsh. Yeah, I think we do see Daiki, right? He makes a cameo alongside her in Aloha State.
I think it's been a while since I've seen it.
I mean, she likes these party boys, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so Daiki cheated?
Yeah, Daiki cheated on her.
And she found out because she found
Used
like
condoms.
used condoms.
That's fucking foul.
Yeah.
I didn't think that kind of thing happened in Japan. That's how ignorant I am.
Wait, did you think they don't have condoms there or something?
I don't know. I just thought they were more respectful.
But that's like the worst way to find out.
Yeah,
like,
It's
not
one of the
like-
worst. One of the worst. I mean, he could have been like, in mid coitus.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's
I think
even
that's pretty much
worse.
I think that's the only way it could have been worse is if she caught them mid deed.
Listen, there's always a worse, guys. I have a crazy imagination.
Oh
but
God, I'm sure there's always worse, but that's like, I feel like that's really rude of the production to then ask her a question about being cheated on, because then otherwise, like, we would have no idea unless we were actively like researching into her relationship with Daiki and why that ended. That
right.
it had ended because he had cheated on her. Like, that's just like a really cheap shot.
Man.
And like, especially because it seems like their assumption is that it's going to happen again.
Right.
Yeah. It's a little
I
rough.
mean, honestly though, like, Noah, just the way he acts though, and the way how we find out he parties and all that stuff, it doesn't exactly give me the sign that he would be like the most loyal in a relationship. But that's just absolutely like speculation on my part. I have no real basis for that. It's not like Io, who just openly admits he cheated.
Yeah.
On, you know.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I think it's partially fair to put that really bad expectation on Noah, just in the sense that like he wasn't socially inept enough to like read that clearly Yui had assumed some things about their relationship before he was felt free to pursue other people, or as it like took someone else saying like, hey, stop leading her on.
He does seem a little bit like an oblivious boy. He's just there to have fun.
Oblivious boy,
But
Noah.
hopefully he doesn't pull a Daiki. And if he does, hopefully it's not found out via used condoms, because Jesus, that is just...
God.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean,
That's-
she's kind of setting herself up for failure in a way. I don't know, because aren't they like 10 years apart in age? Like, isn't he like a damn, like, he's 21, right?
He's 21.
Yeah.
I'm older than
they're-
this kid. What?
They're at very different stages in life, and I think if anything, it's not going to be cheating. It's not going to be whatever myriad of things that can go wrong in a relationship. It's just going to be that they have different priorities at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that college party phase right now.
Totally.
Yeah, and I think she's going to get tired of it at some point. Like, she's still going strong at the moment, but eventually you want something else.
Right.
Yeah,
We talked about it many times before, but I just don't know if this is going to work out in the long run. Honestly, we saw that Instagram post, them kissing at Christmas, and I was like, oh my God, they're still together.
Yeah, I was shocked at that, too. I totally was.
Shocker.
I've kind of changed my tune. I want to root for them so hard. I just want them to be happy, right? I don't
Well, yeah, of
think it's
course.
going to happen. But if it does, good for them, right?
Well, so that's a good segue, though. You're probably about to go there now into like Seina, what she said at the end, right? Which was that there will not be a fifth time at Terrace house. That was one of the last things she said.
All right, I'm taking bets, y'all. I think she's going to be back.
I'm wondering here. Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, she probably can, punch her own ticket. Like, she can probably show up to Terrace house whenever she wants to, right? Because Seina-san equals ratings, probably. But she might just like have reached that part of her life where even if it doesn't work out, she just isn't going to go back to the reality show for another dip in, the company ink, so to speak. Because if it's 2 out of 3 times, for romance, then it's almost it's almost a dumb tactic to do.
I could see her coming back in the way she did in Boys and Girls, where she just came back for an episode to like
Right.
do things just to.
Do they count that as an appearance? I guess they do, right?
They do.
Like, she just showed up for one day and they're like, oh, that's one of her appearances. But she only lived in, 2 different houses?
Yeah, well, she's been on 2 series.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
as
she's cameoed.
a member.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
I wanted to point it out another thing she said at the end, and I wrote this down as a quote because I just worry about the people who live in the house right now as we speak. She said, also, I enjoyed spending time in the TV room with Noah. And I'm just like, red alert.
I was like,
fucking destroy that room, burn it down.
Burn it down. Burn it. Yeah, steam that whole thing.
Quarantine.
But we
hey
did
guys, check out the
know.
new black lights I put in the TV room.
Oh, God. Oh, God. It's on the ceiling.
Used condoms everywhere.
We did know that Shion and Tsubasa used the playroom to play
that's
also, though.
That's the playroom.
Which actually makes this weirder because it's like a very used room now.
Very used
like,
to
And
it.
Seina and Noah were very blatant about it too. They're like, we might need the playroom. In fact, we might need it tonight. Do you remember that when they said that in the kitchen to the table? They're like, actually, we need it tonight. So thank you. It's like right after they said
way
we're
to be
boyfriend and
subtle.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Man, that was still so gross though. Just the way she says it at the end with like that smug, like, "Oh, we had fun. We enjoyed
We
that.
had fun.
We enjoyed
know.
not each other, but the room."
It was a nice couch, Robert. You still want that couch?
I do still want that. Not that one, but I want a similar couch.
You would take that one, you liar.
Gross.
So what happens? Like, are the cameras still rolling when that shit happens?
No.
Like, I mean, because the thing is, like, the way those cameras are, some of them are just seem like the type that they just leave on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To capture stuff.
Right. Some of them are like still, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, there's no way in hell somebody didn't catch something in the editing bay. Like, somebody saw something.
There's some understanding. I don't think that they're going to just straight up have sex when they know they're being recorded, though.
Yeah.
don't
And
think
Maybe
they
that's
will.
what they're into.
fully.
If anyone is, it's them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think though, I'd bet that in their contracts, 'cause you have to sign a contract to get on the show. I'd bet they
Yes,
probably have a
contract
clause
labor.
that's like no nudity, please, thanks.
Unless you're a dude and it's your butt
That's not dick though.
all season long. Okay.
That's our new quote from Tadaima. That's not dick, though.
Dick though.
It's not dick, though.
Can that be the episode name?
I see
I think-
pubis. Ain't dick though.
Oh, good.
Plenty of dude butt, no dick, though.
How old are we?
5 years old.
12.
Okay, good.
Oh.
So I think let's jump over to Noah's. And I think we can probably blitz through this just because we kind of offhandedly said a lot of what Noah said, like while talking about Seina.
Thanks, Colin.
I think we can do a deeper dive into his thoughts on Mayu because he was just like he was trying to be nice. You could sense that. You know, he was like, "Oh, it was unexpected. She's nice."
Yeah, he was
Yeah, but then he
being-
giggled under his breath the whole time, like, "Oh
Yeah,
god,
He was
this
being
was-
very much passive aggressive.
Oh,
Yeah, he was doing the thing where
always
it's like,
there.
yeah, she wasn't annoying, but
and then he just straight up, "What's her deal though?"
like, but she's like, what's her deal?
Yikes.
brutal. I mean, because
kinda
she was
came through a
always
little.
lurking, dude. She suffocated him. She Pepe Le Pewed him, essentially. She was just stalking his ass. You know
Throwback.
what I mean? Yeah, she
Yeah.
was just
Nice.
stalking his ass. Like, because he said, even when you know what's scary? Sound like a horror movie. He's like, even when I thought I was alone, she was always nearby.
Dead and
Yeah, like cue the Jaws music. Exactly. Like,
dead.
I totally believe him. And then another thing that stood out when he was talking about Mayu was that he's like, yeah, we had a lot in common. I mean, like, a lot.
Oh my
It was
gosh, 'cause
scary.
that's what she
He
did.
literally said he
like,
was scary.
and we have like records specifically of her doing that with even like Shion.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, you want to live in like a house with a bunch of kids in
Right.
the countryside? I do
Yeah,
too.
it's her go-to.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, she even did that with Taka, right? She was like, "Oh, I love the
Yes.
outdoors," and it's like, okay,
It's almost like we don't even know who the hell she is.
It's like, girl, just be yourself, please.
Yeah, she's
Wait,
like
what
that
if-
one
what if-
X-Men, that one blue X-Men. that just turns
Mystique.
into people. Yeah.
Guys, what if Terrace House is actually a sequel to The Thing, and Mayu is the Thing?
She's the mimic. She's
Yeah,
just
she's
turning
trying-
into.
Yeah, she's trying to assimilate.
I
Turn
too
a dog
enjoy
inside out.
human activities like outdoor.
Yes.
Outdoor. I enjoy a sports.
Not gonna lie, like a horror movie version of Terrace House would be amazing.
There needs to be a
watch it.
cut where there needs to be like a
Terror
super
House.
cut. Like, you know how they have that super cut where they put The Shining as like a rom-com? They need to have something like
yeah.
that, like a Terrace House horror trailer. I would like to see
I'm sure someone's
I'm
did
gonna
it.
do it. I'm gonna do it.
hell,
Please
Mark
do it.
my words.
Do it.
All right, you got it on the
Halloween
internet now,
special.
Daily.
Get ready for it.
All right, now we're all going to be waiting for it.
I really want that. I'm willing to help out if you need it.
This summer.
Yeah.
And we just intercut footage from this interview. Whenever I thought I was alone, she was there. Boom. Fucking violins.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Against a window. I'm pretty sure there's a clip somewhere of like them like looking out the window.
Oh yeah.
So what else about Noah, guys? Real quick. I know we're shotgunning this. What else stood out from his exit interview?
Well,
So he said that he explains that when he initially like talked with Yui, it was kind of more out of Like there were no other options to him, because when he first got in the house, he didn't connect that well with Taka. He hadn't spoken to Seina yet, and Mayu was, quote, like that. So Yui, Yui was the easiest.
He was just
one.
like, Mayu was
like that.
like that.
Yeah. And so like he says, Yui was the easiest one to talk to, and it's like, well, okay, I guess it's just kind of like out of necessity almost.
Nah, hold on. That's a weird thing to say, right? Like, I need to go on a one-on-one date with this girl out of necessity. Like, of what necessity? Like, what pressure? You know what I mean? Because I don't think he ever entertained the idea of romantic happenings with Yui. I really don't think so.
I think
It's like, did he want to go out and just get his like ego stroked and be told how hot he is? Like, what?
Yes.
Okay, that's gross.
Yeah, until she started to mom him, and then he's like, okay, I'm not into this anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd reconsider it.
To kind of like sympathize with him, like he moved into this new house. He clearly didn't wind up getting along with a lot of the guys, which is kind of the expectation when you come into Terrace house. Like, they're your roommates, you're gonna get along with them, and they're gonna like welcome you in. So the person who accepted him the most and was his age was like his escape from the house, because otherwise he'd have to study for his pilot's license, and that wasn't gonna happen.
God forbid.
Yeah, fucking no, anything but that. No,
Flat.
I mean, what a piece of shit. Like, the more I think about it, like, I'm talking about Noah here. Like,
Oh, rip.
yeah, he just didn't get along with fucking anybody. He just dates people, or goes on a date and leads them on, at least for a short time. You know, I mean, it's just, I just really hate the guy. And what is preventing him and Seina from talking in the beginning?
I think it was
What
that
even
Seina
was in the
busy.
way? She was like on a trip. Was she getting her new nose? Is that what it was?
I think
Maybe.
she was away a lot, though, when she first came to the house, wasn't she?
Yeah,
I'm
she
pretty sure
was.
she was on a lot of business trips.
Man, I just really don't like the guy. I don't trust him. I don't like him. I don't respect him.
Neither do any of his exes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rip.
'Cause they were all
That's always
jealous.
fairly telling about a person. Like, I know
Yes.
that,
Yes.
especially guys, when they're like, I'm sorry, guys, but when it's
Thanks.
like, oh my gosh, my ex was crazy. All my exes were crazy. And it's like,
Right.
you know what the common denominator here is, though?
You.
His exes.
They all dated you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
mean-
good call. That's a good barometer for character. I agree with that. Where if they get along with their exes and it's amicable split, then you know that speaks well of their character. But if they think that they just go off and say, you know, blame other people and say, oh, you know, I can't talk about that. That was a crazy situation. Then totally, exactly what you said, Daly.
Yeah. And I think part of this kind of recontextualizes how. So we talked about earlier that scene where Noah was digging into Shohei, like, hey, I kissed that girl you really like, right? Like, that was a really shitty of Noah scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then it kind of made me think, like, well, okay, let's try to put ourselves in a shitty douchebag's shoes. I just kissed the girl I really like. Who can I tell that to? Because I don't want to just keep it. I need to share that. I'm a social creature.
And Taka doesn't like me.
Yeah, Taka hates me. I just had a weird romantic, but not romantic stint with Yui, so it'd probably be weird to tell her. I guess I get along with Shohei. Sure, I'll tell Shohei.
Or just be fucking like
Totally.
your own secure man and just live your own damn life.
Yeah.
He just glosses over the fact that, you know, like Seina and Shohei had just been a thing that he like physically saw. He couldn't have like not known.
Like, I'm not deriving enough pleasure from knowing I kissed her. Someone else must know as well.
Yeah. And it has to be the guy that was into her first.
Yeah, and I don't care. Ooh, Noah. Ooh.
I also don't like the chin strap that he has in the interview, just as long as we're ragging on Noah here.
Yeah, it's not great. And also, he didn't wear a Wang Stop shirt. Like, what? Get with the times, dude. Everyone's wearing one.
Yeah, let's go.
Wingstop?
Wang Fest. You're talking
both.
about
Wingstop.
Wingstop?
Wang Stop.
You want to get some fucking Wingstop after this, boy?
Get your Wang Chung. Oh, shit, dude.
That's what they call the alley down the street, the Wang Stop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So,
let me get some of that lemon pepper.
So I'm going to push this on forward, guys. So they ask him the same question, right? Would you choose Seina over being a pilot? As if that scenario were ever to present itself. And he basically says, I choose Seina. And I don't believe him for a fucking second.
Here's the thing. I also don't believe he'd choose pilot. I think he'd choose whiskey.
Exactly.
Or
He'd choose whiskey.
Yeah, or whatever his drink of choice is. I don't think we ever see him drink. Or beer. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's hard to like Noah, and it even ends with the same question of, do you see yourself marrying her? And so I watched the Noah interview first. All right, so I wasn't thinking of the context of, oh, Seina's in her 30s. Maybe she is thinking about marriage. A lot of people tend to when they're that age. To me, I was like, okay, they're asking a 21-year-old if he's thinking about marriage. And I was like, yikes, Japan. Like, I know your birth rate's low, but yikes. Right. That's how I saw it. And he was immediately
this is
like,
soda.
Yeah, and he was just fucking like, hell yeah. I want to marry, like, I'm going to marry her. He's like in. And it was weird to me how excited he was.
Yeah, I especially being that young of a guy in a relationship that's only been a thing for 7 months. That means he's only what, 3-4 months removed from the honeymoon phase.
I don't know. Did I watch the same interview? I came away with it thinking that he was doubtful of getting married.
He first said that's the only thing I'm worried about.
Meaning, like, I'm worried to do it. That's how I took it.
Oh, I took it as like, that's like the only thing I'm thinking about. Like, how am I going to marry her? When am I going to propose? What's the date?
Someone else chime in here. I took it that he was scared to.
He did say he was like, I can't think about marriage right now, and he seemed to kind of be putting it off to like he can't think about it because he doesn't like even have a career yet. Right. He's 21, doesn't even have a job, etc.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Like he's putting the cart before the horse in a way.
It's not even like it's not even like a topic that he's thinking about. It's not really even in the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, but I feel like this theme that we've talked about where he seems to be like much more into Seina than maybe Seina is into him. I believe in that. Especially because like he's young. Maybe he hasn't had a relationship that's lasted this long. Maybe he hasn't had a relationship where someone's able to come over all the time and play house in a way, and like that makes a lasting impression.
Right. Especially if he doesn't have much of a point of reference, like you were saying, Daly.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's what sort of thing he's like, especially being young, that shit kind of burns bright.
Yeah, and if his whole perception of relationships before Seina was that's just a ball in a chain, the girl's always jealous and she's always gonna control my life, because that's kind of the impression I got from him. And now that he's with Seina, she's not like that. Maybe this is like, to him, this is my first real relationship, so he might maybe be excited about that.
Yeah. Or I mean, maybe something happens and he ends up getting seriously hurt, at least emotionally.
Call me cynical. I just don't see this type of trajectory that their relationship is taking as something sustainable long term.
No.
At all.
No.
So let's say they do get married in the next 2-3 years. Like, there's gonna be a lot of changes, a lot of transitions that you don't foresee. I don't know.
Guys, don't you see it? Noah is the next Sota.
Oh, the hardest.
When I was your age, I married. Cuts to another camera. Seina-san. And we had a kid. And I never see him.
And now I'm divorced.
And now I flew back here with my pilot's license. And I'm here again.
What's Seina gonna do when she gets pregnant? She can't drink for 9 months. Her head's gonna explode.
What if she just turns into a completely different person just because she can't drink?
Yikes.
It's weird. I didn't expect, I really didn't expect to come away feeling the way I feel about Seina, now that she left the house. I don't know what really happened, but I had a lot of respect for her. So I don't know if it was with editing or what, but I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about her now. You're saying, Daly?
Actually, like, as much as we're like ragging on her, I guess I don't dislike her. I think like she's always, at least in the time that I saw her, she was pretty clear about her priorities. I think maybe she's kind of at the same fault that Noah is in terms of like leading Shohei on. Like she could have been much more clear, much more quickly about where she thought that relationship was going. But I mean, I totally foresaw like her liking Noah, like liking a younger guy.
Yeah, she asked him to marry him. One of the first things she said to him.
Oh, you're like an heir to
she
an
raised
airline.
Her hand,
marry me.
Marry me. Yeah, raised her hand.
Marry me, please.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about this and I'm asking myself the question, maybe it's more like a guilty by association kind of thing with me.
Guilty.
Whereas I don't like Noah because he can't get along with a guy as cool as Taka. And so I'm almost like passing on those attributes to Seina, like, oh, you're the type of girl that he really likes and gets along with, and he's that type of dude. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's unfair, but I'm just trying to figure out like why I don't like her as much as I used to. And maybe it's because she's with Noah and they're working, quote unquote.
See, I kind of dissociate her from him, which is weird because they're a couple, right? But in my head, to me, it's almost clear that I don't want to say this is kind of mean, but to her, Noah's a plaything. You know, it's a toy that she's going to get bored with after a while and then move on.
Yeah.
She wants to marry that toy.
I mean, allegedly.
Maybe.
But
that's just another game.
yeah, exactly. It's just because like part of me is thinking like she's on Terrace House so much now that like, I mean, I kind of personally think everyone's playing the camera, even just a little bit on Terrace House. Like they're trying to be authentic, but there's only so much you can do, right? Before you realize,
Right.
like, I'm on TV.
It's subconsciously there all the
Right.
time.
But I think Seina has been on there enough. She's had like fucking training at this point that everything she says and does in my head is like cold, calculated, like, oh yeah, I definitely want him to marry me. And then next season, like, my fiance broke up with me. I'm a tragic, sad sob story, and I'm here for my new love.
She definitely played it up this time for opening new doors.
Oh man, I don't know how she does it though. I would just be, God, even the fourth time, just being on something like that it just sounds exhausting.
Oh yeah,
It just sounds exhausting.
I mean,
Maybe that's why she drinks so much.
to cope.
maybe.
yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
I've lived with people before, right? And it didn't work out, and I had to, move, or they had to move, or both. And the last thing I would ever want is a fucking camera in my house watching me leave and like turn to the bed and like look at it sadly, especially after someone cheated on, after someone cheated on me. Like, fuck that.
I seriously thought you were gonna say like I lived with people. Yeah, like living with people makes you have a drinking problem. I mean,
I'm an alcoholic now, guys. I can't stop.
yeah.
I think though, let's start wrapping up this show. We've been going on for a while, a lot longer than I expected.
Me too. Like, listen, guys. Like, slow clap for us. We managed to spend over an hour talking about 15 minutes of content. I don't know how that happens. I didn't foresee it, but kudos, bravo.
Subtext.
Yes.
There was so much subtext.
Yeah, there was a lot of subtext, and I really like that we are able to get into like almost like a psychological aspect of these relationships and reading between the lines.
I will say this, though. I think that it is warranted to talk about these two as much as we have, and perhaps even more down the road, because in all of Terrace House, for North American audience, this is, to me, the most interesting coupling story arc of all the couples, right? Like, Tsubasa and Shion were cute and awesome, and I want them to work, but this was nowhere near as interesting from a narrative perspective as the paths that Seina and Noah took to get to each other.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
All right. Let's take us all home. Jack, do you want to tell the lovely folks about the AirPod contest?
Hey guys, yeah, we are running a contest again. Do not delay, but all you have to do is super easy. Follow us on Instagram, Tadaimagram. Follow us on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and then leave us a review on iTunes. That would be great. And then, yeah, you will be entered into that contest automatically. The grand prize is a brand new fresh pair of Apple AirPods. And if you don't want those, then we'll give you an Amazon gift card of equal value. So it's win-win. Do this one thing. Leave us a review. And don't delay. We need those iTunes reviews. Come on, do it. Thank you.
Very nice.
Do it.
If you have any insights about the Noah Seina relationship, or if you feel like we missed anything about them, and then their awful future, you can email those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. We're going back to 1 day a week of our publication schedule. We've been kind of tooting that a bit, and we'll go back to multiple episodes every week once part 6 of Opening New Doors drops, which will be around February or March. We're just as excited and unknowledgeable about it as you are. Next Monday, we're going to be talking about what we think about whether Terrace House would work in America. It's kind of a topic we've all internally talked about. We're kind of like, dude, this could be a cool show. So we have high hopes for next week. We hope you do too. This has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itakimasu!
Email us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at Tadaimagram, on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Tadaima, a Terrace House podcast.